structured stripes. So this is super fun. I love making stripes in all kinds of different colors. And it's a little bit different technique that you need to do to make these perfect structured stripes. So I just have the basic beanie here to kind of remind you what this is. This is called crocheting in the round, where you start here and you can see like the spiral. It starts like this and it goes out, 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 out. It's like a spiral. Whereas this beanie actually, I kind of cheat, which I'm going to show you this little hack here. So I actually start it in a spiral too, but then I switch when I'm ready to go to the stripes. I'll show you how to do that because you can do, so what this is where the stripes are, see where there's no seam here, but there is a seam here just from the stripes down to the bottom. So this is called crocheting in joined rounds, and these are the little joins, and that's what makes it flat and straight where you're like, it's not perfect, but I think it's perfect enough for a crochet, for a handmade thing. So you could make it from the very top. You could start in joined rounds and then you'd have a little seam going all the way down, but I like it better this way. So this is just one of those little tips and tricks that I have learned. You know, honestly, the way I came up with this is that I started making a regular beanie in the round, and then I realized that I got down to where it was time to make a stripe, and I was like, what am I doing? I didn't make it in joined rounds. How am I going to make a stripe? So I kind of figured out this little hack, and you can actually see it right here where I do a couple of slip stitches. If you look really close, you can see there's a teeny bump in it. It's not as straight as the one below it, but like, see that bump right there? Like, that is, to me, that's way less noticeable than if you had a seam all the way up to the top. So I am going to show you how to do that. This is going to be a different beanie than this one. I'm not making this one again. I'm actually putting the stripe up higher in the beanie, and then I'm going to put a fold-up brim on it as well, because I don't have a striped one with a fold-up brim made yet. So let's see. I'm getting close to the end of the round here. Actually, let me pull out one stitch. And I'm going to go ahead and do 2 slip stitches. So these are a lot smaller and shorter than a single crochet. So, but it doesn't look that different. You can see a little bit, it's like going down. This is the best way that I know to change colors in stripes, is you put your hook through and you're going to make a single crochet, but you're not going to wrap around with your main color. You're going to switch to whatever color you're going to do for stripes. I'm going to try this red. So you just make sure you leave plenty of ends so you can sew it in later. And then you'll pull it through and pull it up like this. And now you've changed to red. So now you'll just start crocheting with red. So what I do from here is I do 1 chain, and then I go back into the same stitch and make a single crochet. Okay, so that's my new round of red. And I'm actually going to leave this stitch marker in here because I'm designing this beanie. I want to be able to remember what I did. If you were going to follow this pattern, you probably don't need to use more than 1 stitch marker, but this just helps me when I'm designing a new thing. And I'm not going to use the locking one right now because I'm going to need to move it every round as I go. I like to use, when I'm doing structured stripes, I really like to use the stitch marker because like this gets a little confusing and funky to me when I've changed colors, like where is the first stitch actually? So I like to just mark it. So now you just go around, and your stitch marker falls out. Okay, I'm gonna fix that. I will go around and get ready to change back to the gray to do an in-between stripe, and I will show you how to do that part again so you can kind of see it again. Okay, I realize this is a critical moment to show you how to do this when you're coming to the end of your joined round here. So let's see, there's one more stitch here, and then there's these two little, remember when I did the slip stitches when I first started? So they're kind of tight, but you just go into them like every other, yeah, it just feels tighter, but you just do a stitch right in there, just like you would with this single crochet. And then it'll look like this. So see, we have just this little gray piece. That is, I like to tighten that down. That actually helps everything when you'll do this again when you're sewing in your ends. I'll show you that. But like if you tighten down your two ends that are on the wrong side here, that'll help you see that you are going to take out your stitch marker here and you're going to put your next, so actually you're going to slip stitch. Oh, this is tight. You're going to slip stitch here into that first. So this red is like hanging out a little bit down, like it looks like it's going to be weird, but once you tie up the ends, it won't show. So you slip stitch in the first single crochet that you made in the round, and then you chain one, and then you go back in the exact same stitch and do a single crochet. And then you put your stitch marker back in there. This is a little bit confusing to me when I'm changing colors. It's easier to me when I'm using the same color. Okay, so I'm going to go back around and then we'll look at it again when I'm changing colors. I'm making two skinny stripes, so I'm going to change color back to gray at the end of this round, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so we're at the end of this red stripe here. When you look closely, I have one more crochet left to do, single crochet here. And now, hopefully you can see this red. It kind of looks like I'm skipping two stitches, so it's like one little one there and one little one there. That's why it really helps to use this stitch marker, so I know that the next place I'm going to go in is that one. But I'm not going to use my red now. I'm going to switch back to gray. So I'm going to just put my hook through there, and I actually haven't cut my gray off yet, so I need to do that and find my scissors. Oh, here they are. So I'm leaving these ends pretty long. You don't have to leave this much, but I like to use the tapestry needle to sew them in. So I'm going to show you how I do that, but like you need to have longer ends for that. And I just find that quicker and easier when I'm making a lot of beanies like I am for this course. So again, this is how you're changing your colors. You've got your hook through the stitch. You just pull your yarn through those two loops and tighten up the red there. Oops, sorry, that got below the camera. And then you tighten up kind of both of your ends. You do your chain one, and then you do your single crochet in the same stitch. Throw your stitch marker, there we go, there it is. Throw your stitch marker back in and go around again. So I will continue here doing this, and then I will come back to show you my favorite method for sewing in or weaving in the ends, because you want to do a little bit differently with these stripes, so to make sure that it's strong and it holds together, how to weave in the ends on the structured stripe piece. So I cut mine pretty long on purpose because I'm going to use my needle to weave them in. You don't have to cut them this long. I used to feel like this was wasting yarn, which maybe it is. Then I realized like it's like 4 inches of yarn. I think it'll be okay. So here's what I do is I take, so, you know, this is where I change from red to gray. So I have one red and one gray end here, which is kind of the case with all of these. So I tie a normal knot like you're going to tie your shoes, but then I double it because that makes it stay better. And then I pull it really tight. I find that that will actually look better on the other side. And then I just do another knot just one time around on top of that. So I pull these tight and tie them tight, and they stay very well when you do it this way. So you don't have to worry about weak spots here where you did all your color changing or getting things unraveled. And then you've got your lovely 8 ends to weave in here. So I used to shy away from making striped beanies or only make like one stripe. Oh, that's Gus. He's on patrol. How are we gonna go bark? Maybe. I just heard him jump up on the couch. But I used to only make like one stripe max because I didn't want to deal with weaving in all the ends. But now I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll make 2 stripes, which actually really I made 3 stripes in here. 1, 2, 3, which means I have 8 extra ends to weave in. But I showed you how to do this. If you didn't see it, I showed you how to do this in the weaving in the ends video. So I'm going to do it a little bit faster. Maybe I'm going to try to do it faster. I swear I do this because it's faster, but this part can be fiddly just a little bit. Okay, so the other tip I have here is to weave your gray end into the gray yarn. Otherwise, if you weave like the red end in, it could be visible from the other side and show like a weird redness in the background of your hat, which is not what you want. So that's all, the only other tip I have besides just picking up as many of these as you can with your needle or your crochet hook if you don't want to get a needle or have another craft item. If you don't have a needle right now, go back and watch that weaving in the ends video, and I show you how to do it with a crochet hook. So I prefer this when I've got a lot of fiddly ends to weave in. I just find it more fun, and that's really what it's all about. So I'm going to weave this into the red side to make sure that there's no weird little gray bits poking through into the gray, into the red. Wait, what am I talking about? I'm tired. I shot a lot of these videos today. I made this whole hat and took videos of all the steps today. So that is probably enough for the red. And now I'll just turn it inside out, right side out, I guess, and show you what it looks like from there. So I still have my locking stitch marker is still locked in there. And you can see this is partly because I pulled it really tight. That helped the stripes look really good too. That, you know, if you're crocheting along and the stripes are like not looking as perfect as these do, just remember to do this at the end when you like knot them up like I did and pull them tight, and that will help this stripes to look a lot straighter. So that is how I do structured stripes. I hope you enjoyed that and you try it out. I mean, I think of all the variations that I teach you in this course, I think the structured stripe is the most fun because you can do so many different things with it. Like this hat right here that you've seen before, it's the similar pattern, but it's lower on the hat and there's no fold up brim, you know? And then I have, let's see, here's a structured stripe one that I worked on that's also similar to this, but this one is actually a bigger one. It's a pom-pom. Actually, I don't even know if I was making this a pom-pom or slouchy. It's taller anyway. And then I did more structured stripes there. And where is my other one? I just want, oh, Just want to show you this one as well. You have the pattern for this one included in the course, where you make three different colors in the hat. And I did not finish weaving in my ends in that one. Oops. So anyway, those are just some ideas. I mean, you can make as many colors of stripes as you want. Just know that you're going to have to weave in all the ends. But that is this structured stripe beanie. And I'd love to see what you come up with.